So, I guess I should start off by explaining myself. I know what you might be asking right now. Why would you buy a Nintendo Switch on the dark web? They're sold literally everywhere else. Look, here's the thing. I don't make that much money at my job. Certainly not enough to afford something that expensive with all the bills I need to pay. So, I decided to look for buying one secondhand. I dug around the internet, looking at multiple ads on eBay and Craigslist, but I still couldn't find any under $200 like I was hoping for. I was about to give up and just wait, try to save up where I could and hope that I'd have enough for the damn thing by next year. When out of the blue, my friend Matt finally responded to a text I'd sent him earlier. See, he'd gotten himself a Switch for dirt cheap and he said it worked like new. So I was hoping he'd tell me who or where he'd bought it from. And now, in my inbox, was a link to a website with only 2 words as any sort of description about its content. It simply read, "This guy." I tapped the link and I was brought onto a website that seemed like any other auction site with people trying to get rid of their crap. But there was one thing about this website that was a little bit different. It was run by one guy. One guy with about 1,000 auctions going on at once for all sorts of different electronic products. There was one other thing that sort of set off my warning bells. Each one of the electronic devices on the website had the auction starting at just 1 penny, with the bids stopping at around $20 or a little more. And all of this stuff, it looked brand new. Now, while I had my suspicions about all of this, I was still desperate to get my hands on a Switch. So, I looked and found over 100 auctions going at once, all for the same type of console, the only difference appearing to be the colour. I tapped on one of the auctions with a particularly pretty looking Switch with a snowy forest skin, and I started to bid, going up cent by cent, like everyone else. Finally, after about 30 minutes of this race, the bidding ended with me and my offering price of exactly $24.86. A notice popped up on my screen with a little dancing money bag and big bold letters reading, "Congratulations! Your item will arrive within the next 24 hours. Once again, I did find this strange, since I hadn't even put in my address or anything. End of the day, I just brushed it off as the site may be retrieving my location from my phone, which is a feature we all typically keep turned off. Personally though, I never bothered with it. I let out a rather loud yawn and realised just how late it was. I needed sleep, so I shut off my phone, content to just lay down in my bed and let sleep overtake me. After about 3 hours, I knew that sleep was not going to come. I wasn't sure why I couldn't manage it, but I was tossing and turning and looking at my phone. I guess I was rather excited. It was really weird to me since I hadn't been that excited since I was little, waiting for Christmas Eve so I could go into my parents' room and jump on their bed until they woke up to open presents in the morning. It had been years since those times, mind you, at least a decade if not a little longer. So I was more than a little bit confused. By the time the sun had risen, I was still wide awake, now sitting at my table drinking a cup of coffee. I was practically bouncing up and down in my chair, just waiting for that doorbell to ring. My lack of sleep and energy being damned by my excitement. Suddenly, there was a knock at the door, followed by several pressings of my obnoxiously loud doorbell before I'd gotten there to answer it. Some tired-looking kid had a package in his hands, and before he even got a word out of it, I'd grabbed it and slammed the door in his face. That was rude, I understand, but I was really enthusiastic, hoping that this was my new toy. I ran to my bedroom, slammed the door, and drew the shutters closed, so the room was completely dark, with only the flashlight from my phone giving off any illumination. I tore open the box and let out a squeal when I saw my brand new Nintendo Switch with its snowy forest skin wrapped up in plastic. I tore apart the thin layer of clear packing material, keeping me from my newest possession. I ran my fingers across the console, pressing buttons and fiddling with the joysticks. As I caressed my new toy, I noticed something else in the box that I hadn't at first, due to my over-eager wish to mess around with my new system. It was a brand new copy of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. The way I could tell it was brand new was the fact that the game still had its fresh from the store plastic outer shell, just waiting to be broken. I felt my face break out into a grin and tore away the plastic, opening the case and taking off the cartridge to admire it. I could never afford video games brand new either, so this was kind of like the luckiest day of my life. I put in the game and turned on my Switch. God, I loved calling it that. My Switch. And started playing. It took me a bit to memorize the controls, but once I got into it, it was easier than breathing. I went through stage after stage, battling character after character. Things seemed to become little more than a flurry, with the characters becoming blurs as their movements got faster and faster. Now, I didn't know too much about this game to begin with, but I was still pretty sure this wasn't part of its mechanics. Even so, my eyes were glued to the screen, and I couldn't stop. I wouldn't stop. Not until I had beaten that game completely and won. Yes, I felt as though I were on the precipice of glory, so close to winning that
Ted?
My eyes moved away from the screen for 1 second for me to see my friend Nate in my doorway, confused expression written clear on his face. He turned on my light, and I winced at just how bright it was.
Dude, do you have any idea how worried we've all been?
He demanded. I shrugged, confused. What are you talking about?
I've been calling you all day, man.
He exclaimed.
First you didn't show up for your shift, then you didn't answer my texts or calls, which, by the way, I've sent over 40. And now, I come to your house, find your front door unlocked, to come inside and find all the lights are off. And get in here expecting to see you dead or something, and I find you here playing some stupid-ass game. What the hell?
I frowned, my brow furrowing. All day? What time is it? Nate looked at me a little freaked out as he told me.
It's 2:30, Ted.
I shrugged. So? That isn't that...
It's 2:30 in the morning, dude.
Nate interjected. I paused, my eyes widening as I looked at my closed shutters. I jumped out of bed, tossing my Switch onto it as I opened the blinds and saw it was pitch black outside. But how? How could this be happening when I hadn't even been playing on my Switch for even an hour? At least, it had seemed like an hour to me. I shook my head in disbelief, trying to come up with some reasonable explanation as to how I'd let an entire day go by without even noticing. I haven't even... But nothing that could even remotely be considered coherent was coming out of my mouth. Nate gestured to my Switch.
Where the hell did you even get that, Ted? You're having enough trouble paying bills already. How could you afford a custom Nintendo Switch?
I just shrugged at this. I got it from some guy's website that Matt bought his off. And he spent like $25 on it, and it came with a brand new game. Nate just rolled his eyes and shoved his hands in his pockets.
Whatever. Boss says that if you don't show up on Monday right on time, then you're fired. See ya.
He shut the door and I rolled my eyes, flopping on my bed and staring at my beautiful Nintendo Switch. Nate was just jealous. Jealous that he didn't have one. So what if I'd missed a day at work? Lots of people who play video games lost track of time sometimes. And there had probably been days back in college when Nate and I missed classes because we got wrapped up in a video game. That had been a while back though, so memories were still hazy. Even so, I was sure it wasn't that big a deal. Not really. I decided to switch off my lights again and pick up my Switch so I could start playing my game again. And I mean again, because I hadn't saved my progress. So, I had to start all the way back at the beginning. But as quickly as before, I fell back into my rhythm, and it didn't take me long to get back to where I was. I was making great time on this, so I figured it hadn't been more than a few hours. I decided to call Matt during a round and found I was actually really good at playing one-handed.
Hey dude, what's up?
Matt's voice answered on the third ring. I set my phone down and I put it on speaker. I'm playing with my new Switch. Your guy is a freaking god, dude. This thing is amazing.
Told you. I've been playing on mine since this afternoon. How long you been playing?
He asked. I shrugged instinctively. I don't know, few hours give or take. You? He paused for a moment before responding.
The same as you, I guess. I haven't really been looking at the clock.
I laughed. Me neither. Guess it's just like in college, huh? Us getting sucked into a game with Nate and losing all track of time. I heard Matt chuckle.
Man, those were some good times. Well, anyway, I'll give you a call tomorrow. Let me know how far you get in your game.
Will do. And with that, it was just me and my Switch. Alone. Again. And I was actually pretty grateful for the silence. I'd thought I wanted to talk with Matt a little more, but I guessed I'd been wrong. As levels blurred into more levels, I started getting more and more immersed in the game, not paying any attention to anything else. My phone was going off not too much later, so I decided I may as well answer it, figuring maybe it was Matt changing his mind. I didn't bother taking my eyes off my Switch screen though, using my chin to push the answer call button. Yo, you've got the Tedmeister.
Dude, where the hell are you?
I was a little bit shocked to hear Nate's voice over the other end of the line this time. Much more so, to hear him sounding so annoyed. What are you talking about? I'm at home. It's like 5 in the morning or something.
No, it's not. It is 9 in the morning, Ted. And you were supposed to show up for your shift over an hour ago,
said Nate, his voice rather cold. I frowned. Wait, what do you mean show up for my shift? I'm not coming in until Monday, Nate.
It is Monday, Ted. Actually, it's been a week past the damn Monday when I told you that you needed to show up or the boss was gonna fire you. I've been trying to get a hold of you for days.
My heart dropped into my stomach, but I still didn't stop playing my game. That's impossible. I've only been playing on my Switch for a few hours.
Dude, I thought about stopping by your place to check on you at least 50 times in the past week. But I didn't want to go inside because, well, I figured you were wasting time on that damn Switch again.
He scoffed.
And if you're telling me that you haven't checked the time in the past 9 days because you've been holed up yourself in your damn room,
He took in a deep breath and let it out through his nostrils.
you're full of shit. You know that? Really full of shit. You haven't changed since college at all. And now instead of Xbox, it's your damn Switch.
Nate, I managed out, my voice breaking. I haven't stopped playing my Switch at all. I heard him scoff again.
Bullshit.
I gulped. No, dude, I'm being straight with you. I haven't taken any breaks. I started playing a little after you left and I haven't stopped.
Right.
Nate muttered.
Let's say I actually believed you and your stupid lie that a kindergartner could see through. What are you going to tell me next? You haven't eaten or gone to the bathroom?
I paused at this point, my mind reeling as my eyes were glued to my game. Had I eaten anything? Had I gone to the bathroom? I couldn't remember if I had. Nate, I said, my voice breaking. I'm scared. I could practically hear his eyes roll.
Right, sure. Look, just put down the game and go to the bathroom, man. You probably reek if you've been playing that thing and can't even remember the last time you showered.
I nodded. Okay, I'll do that. I tried to put the Switch down, but nothing happened. I physically couldn't do it. Nate, I can't let go. Seriously, man, I can't. Nate scoffed for like the millionth time.
Right. Whatever game you and Matt are playing, it isn't funny.
Matt? What are you talking about? I demanded.
Like you don't know. He hasn't shown up to work in almost a month.
Said Nate.
Look, when you decide to start acting seriously, give me a call. But until then, I don't want to talk to you.
And that was it. He hung up. I tried repeatedly to take my hands off this damn Switch, or turn it off, but it didn't work. I walked to my light switch, and I flipped it up with my head, and then I saw what was on my hands. Long, purple-blue strands that looked like veins, sprouting from the sides of my Switch and embedding themselves into my forearms. I decided to call Matt. Maybe he knew what was going on. He didn't respond, and now I was getting more and more worried. My phone. I knew it wouldn't be much longer until it died, as it typically lasted about 2 weeks if I didn't use it at all, but I was sure it was close to death. I needed to get help. I tried to call everyone on my contacts list, but I got nothing but voicemail boxes. I don't have many contacts, and I'm pretty sure Nate spread the word to all of my other friends about my Switch. It's been, I don't know how long now, and I still can't take my eyes off the game. I can't take my hands off it. I'm not even sure how I'm still alive. My last hope is this, and I've been using voice record to have this done. Please, if you have any idea about what I can do to fix this, help me. I'm desperate.